Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another post-tournament Wartilyo GT recording. I messed that one up. Welcome to another post-GT recap. My name is Lance, and today I'm joined by my friends Nico and Dennis.
Woo!
Woohoo! Hi guys.
Yeah, great energy, guys.
Great intro.
Fucking energy.
Oh no,
Let's go.
it's okay. It's usually like this until we find our rhythm between the three of us. So for those who are not to catch people up, last November 4 to 5, the Dragonforge held its first ever Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament, and we were very fortunate enough to be a part of it. This was held by Louis Yazan and the Dragonforge team, and it was such a smooth event for a first time, right?
It was a really, for their first time, it was a really good event. The venue was great. People were great. They had like a whole team to also help us with the tournaments.
Yeah.
We didn't actually have to do all that heavy lifting, which is great also.
I know. So all we really had to do was submit some volunteer TOs. So good job to Christoph and Vincent for volunteering the TO. And they also asked us for help in the form of terrain and mats. But everything else was pretty much all them.
Yeah, shout out and kudos to the Dragonforge team.
Yeah.
Yep. So
and kudos to Christoph also, wherever you are. RIP.
No, he's not dead, guys. That's questionable YouTube stuff, Nico.
Oh no! All right.
Oh no. Well, no, I don't know. We'll find out if we're not even monetized anyway. So let's see whether that's gonna have some effect in the far future that we won't like. But
we have nothing to lose.
We have. Do we? I don't know. I feel like we're kind of on the roll right now, and it would suck if something weird would happen. But, anyways, so the way this GT recap is gonna go is we're gonna talk. Each of us are gonna talk about the lists that we brought to the tournament, and then we're gonna talk about each round and how our games went. After which, we're gonna talk about our favorite lists and then stuff to look forward to in the future. So this should be a nice and sweet short conversation, more or less. So we're gonna start with Nico. What did you bring?
Oh man, they cropped out the Mangler squig.
Oh, sorry, that's my bad.
No, it's okay. So surprise, Nico didn't bring flies to this tournament because I sold them after one loss. So I'm bringing
Are you going to sell them now? Your kits.
Yeah. So I traded up Nurgle, fast moving Nurgle for fast moving squigs. I brought glue spike kits, and surprisingly, I didn't go Jaws of Mork. I went with King's Gits. Even though almost everything in my army had squigs in it, I still brought King's Gits, and I went up to 1970 points. So it wasn't planned, but it was a pretty safe way to get my triumph.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. And surprisingly, I didn't get the +1 to wound triumph. I didn't get inspired. I got indomitable because that seemed more important with my list. So let's get to it. The list I brought, my general was the Mangler Squig, with Fight Another Day and the Clammy Cowl. And that was actually the MVP of my list. I also brought a Fungoid Cave Shaman, who also took an extra artifact from my command entourage. He took the Moonface Mammoth, which is also really good. And Grimcrack Court, which is also a really big highlight of my list. Grimcrack the Great and his Moon Court. And a Squig boss with Nash's Squig to buff my Squigs. Then for my battle line, I brought a double reinforced Squig Herd unit, along with 10 Bodyguard Bounders and 2 MSU Bounders, 5 each, right? And then Gobblepalooza, Never Leave Home Without It, and Loon Court, basically. So, yeah. Interestingly enough, I didn't go one drop like I always went. I brought the Command Entourage, which gave me the extra artifact, and I took Vanguard for the rerolls to charge or, that automatic after double. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. You get a free after double and free forward to victory. So
yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that your Loon Boss and Mangler Squig was your MVP. So what's the role of the Loon Boss and Mangler Squig that supplements the rest of your army? Sorry, complements the
Yeah.
rest of your army.
So funny enough, from what I've read with with the threads with Gloomspite gets, the Loon Boss on Mangler Squig is an extremely fun pick to bring, but it's not competitive in a way because the more competitive thing to do for those points would be just to bring another reinforced unit of Void Guard Bounders, right? Yeah. So, but one thing, the reason why I brought the Mangler over another reinforced unit of Bounders is that he can bring Fight Another Day and Giant Boing, right? So I agree, Bounders do hit harder, but the Mangler with that much mobility is a really good assassin. It really can pick out key units even if they were screened properly. Even when they're all the way in the back, I always have a way to bounce in the back and run away afterwards, right? While Void Guard Bounders get one good charge in, they'll wipe the screen out, but they're stuck there basically. They'll get killed afterwards. So that's the only downside to taking reinforced bounders.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Has Merciless Blizzard been relevant to you this whole tournament?
I did not use it a single time in this entire tournament.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, yeah, to be honest, whenever people would get up in my face, it's either I had no primal dice, but him bringing the Moonface Moment was huge. It was really big.
Yeah, that's another 12-inch sort of effect, right?
Yes, the automatic. I just pick a unit. That's extra. That's -1 to saves, which is efficiently +1 to rend against that one target with everything with my army, right?
Yeah,
so that's
right.
really good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Would you say that you'd probably change your Merciless Blizzard to like something like a Horfrost or?
You know what's funny? If I actually didn't have to, if I knew I wasn't gonna use Blizzard, I think I could have gone with a cheaper wizard. I could have brought like a Madcap Shaman instead for 70 points, and maybe I could have fit in Endless Spell. Then still give him Moonface Moment.
That's true.
The extra command point though from Fungoid Cave Shaman, was that very useful to you through the tournament, or do you think it was just okay?
No, that was also very useful because there were times when it came down to me having to at the double something like not a non-squig unit just to get to the objective, just to steal it. Actually, we'll get to that later. That's what that happened with my game with Dennis, where that one command point came in handy at the end.
Yeah.
When we were scrounging for for battle tactics already at that point.
Right.
It was really nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Okay, that's super fair. Is there anything else you want to share about the list, or you're G to move on?
Yes, actually, one last thing about the list I'd like to share is Grin Crack Court. Aside from the Mangler being the highlight of my list, it's actually Squigs fighting upon death, which I don't think people do often in the tournaments because what they do is they charge Squig herds forward turn 1, and they just pin you there, right? Then they battle shock and then recycle. But with the list I brought, it's more of a turtle build. I can charge Squig herds turn 1, but it's harder to catch up with Grin Crack since the range is only 3 inches, right? So I'd have to either combo line the Squigs or auto run Grin Crack an extra 6 inches or teleport him with Hand of Gork to position it properly. So it's much harder to pull off. But it's worth it.
It paid off, yeah.
Yeah.
It pays off.
Yeah, because I think that this list looks on paper it looks simple. You just makes things surge forward, but there's so many different concentric buffs, and I think that your time playing Magatin of Nurgle has kind of trained you to be cognizant of these distances, right?
Yes, because actually a lot of things can go wrong with this list.
Yeah.
Grimlock is 220 points, but the minute you're out of range for Fight Upon Death, then he's useless. That's just 220 points down the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, this is the list. Basically, make your opponent regret killing you, and then just recycle while he can't recycle.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So thank you for that. Let's move on to the next one. Went from King's Gits to King Broad. Dennis, tell us. That's such a beautiful display board.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
so I brought King Broad Stomp, which is the new Armies of Renown for Sons of Behemoth. So basically, what this army brings to the table is a Mega Gargant at 40 wounds, having a 5-up ward, uh, which isn't broken at all.
2022 flashbacks.
Yeah, and
And 2021.
D3 plus 3 shooting, which also removes the terrain, and that's also been nerfed, by the way, as of the Dragonforge GT. But that's
How they get
fine.
nerfed?
Sorry.
How they get nerfed?
Oh, it used to be that you can place a Gargant on top of a terrain, and then you remove it with the Hurl Terrain ability, and then you get to
Okay.
set it up wholly within 6 of that terrain feature.
Oh, that's bullshit.
So
So
you-
you get like a free 6-inch readjustment.
Yeah. So if you had like a long river kind of terrain piece on the board, you can just eat one of your Gargants to the towards the end of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So abusive.
that's nerfed now, so you can't do that anymore. But
Why did they get rid of that fully intended interaction? I don't understand.
damn it, I wasn't able to use it for at least one time.
So you're saying you back then you could have just removed like a rock and then end within 3 inches of an enemy after that?
Yeah, you still have to be more than 3, but yeah, I
More than
mean,
3.
it's basically a free
An extra 6
teleport.
inches improvement. Yeah.
We should have like a tournament where it's all raw and everything's readjusted to pre-FAQ states.
Oh shit.
Oh man,
I'll take that for Squigs, yeah.
Stormdrake Guard is gonna be so broken.
that is true. Okay,
Yeah.
so given it's
Yeah.
King's Broad stomp, I brought King Broad. Interestingly, with this Army of Renown, you can give King Broad a command trait, but I didn't opt to do that because I wanted to open up Reprisal as one of the battle tactics without losing one general. Anyway, I brought 2 War Stompers and 4 Man Crusher Gargants for a total of 1980, and then my Triumph is Inspired. And obviously, my grand strategy is Overshadow. So, for my general, I gave him the Big Eater command trait, which is the new command trait. It lets me heal one of my Mega Gargants D3 whenever they kill a model in combat, which is which I used quite a lot in my games. And then my artifact of power is Amulet of Destiny, which didn't really come up that much, to be honest. I think if I had to change it, I would have changed it to something like Arcane Tome instead, so I'll have that extra battle tactic.
Right.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so, but that would mean I won't have the Nullstone Adornment, which I think is fine given that I'll get an Arcane Tome either way. So,
Hmm.
so
You
yeah.
always Mystic Shield yourself, right? Just to help with Ren.
Yeah, you can. I can give Broad Mystic Shield and just moving forward
March
and take all the
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah. And for those in the audience who are very perceptive, yes, it is based on an anime. And as we're recording this, the Attack on Titan anime had just ended, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, it's so freaking gorgeous. Look at the theme, guys. It's basically like everything's made with love, and even like the diorama is all about it. All is that like based in Wall Maria, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, you could have made
You can't see it
actually
from-
look like-
Yeah, sorry, Nico.
You could have given like Broad like Aaron's emo hair also, or like spider or something like that.
I was actually thinking of that. I'm thinking of getting another Mega Gargant just to give him the emo Eren hair or something.
Making an Attack Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, makes perfect sense. But yeah, it's gorgeous, and I think this one is the one that won Best Painted, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations on getting Best Painted.
Congrats.
That's pretty sick. Super deserved. Like this has the most personality of any army on the tournament floor that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
thanks.
also mention? Did you also mention the that 3d6 monsters rampage is really
Oh
annoying.
yeah, I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Yep.
That's really
Which
huge.
I really, I really love that Monsters Rampage. Even more so than the original Monsters Rampages that the book got. Um, yeah, it basically let me charge into whatever screen and then just move over with a 3d6 move.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, that's
and
how I feel.
yeah.
Can you charge over other monsters, or is there a limit to like the kind of wounds that you
um,
need to charge? No.
so the weird thing is, Mega Gargants can move as if they can fly, but only over models that are less than 4 inches in height. But this new Monsters Rampage doesn't really have that restriction anymore. So I can
Okay.
just fly over anything.
Oh,
Wait,
okay. That's pretty useful then.
did you say
Yeah.
4 inches in height?
Yeah, Longshanks, the usual, the Mega Gargant War Scroll abilities, you
Yeah.
can't, yeah. They have fly, but only over models with that has a 4 inch or less height.
So you actually have to measure the height of
Yeah, it's
models?
so weird.
I didn't know that.
GW is so weird.
Yeah,
That's so cool. What if I just make my base really high?
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's
And,
it is what it is.
people
Very-
and some people in other Discord channels were saying that GW's terrain are sometimes almost exclusively 4 inches or higher or something like that. A lot of them
Yeah.
are, so like it was a weird choice. The second edition book had like just the base flying characteristic for that Longshanks, but not anymore.
So basically,
They
the
made it
3D
weird.
lets you just fly over something without any restrictions.
Yeah.
right.
Well, that's great. Okay, made it
I
simple.
feel that Broad Stomp has less of an issue with terrain anyway.
That is true. If I can remove the terrain, there were
Yeah, it's
there was a lot of instances in playing this army that the opponent felt safe hiding behind the
Oh.
terrain. And I just mosey over behind it and then just chuck it at them, and then I get to
Okay.
charge too. So that was great.
Later, when we go over the rounds, you have to tell us specifically, like, this was a time when they felt safe, and then they weren't.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share about King Broad Stomp?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
To King's List.
All right. And lastly, so I brought Iron Jaw's Blood Tooths. My grand strategy is WA, which means that my battle line or my general have to be in enemy territory by the end of the game for me to achieve it. I put Inspired there because I'm an idiot. But my army is because I'm 2,000 points flat and I don't really get the triumph. I have a weird Knob Shaman with a command trace Shaman of the Chilled Lands, which gives me access to the Lore of Frost. Really powerful stuff. I've got the Great Green Hand of Gork, Teleport, which is the best spell in the army. I've got a weird Knob Shaman with Hoarfrost, which was really good with the pigs. I have a Mega Boss with Maw Crusher, with Destroyer and Fast One for some extra utility. And that's one of the big innovations I've had with my lists, because I normally have the Maw Crusher as my general. But by freeing it up and letting my weird Knob Shaman take the general, I get to be a bit riskier and friskier with my Maw Crusher, more so than usual. I have 2 War Chanters, one with an Arcane Tome and a Get 'em Beat, and the other one with a Fix and Beat. I've got 2 units of Gore Gruntas, which are reinforced, 1 unit of non-reinforced Gore Gruntas, and a reinforced unit of Brutes, all of which are essentially hammers, with the the non-reinforced Gore Gruntas being a very light screen. I have Andorian Acolytes, which both my Weird Knob Shamans are a part of, which gives me a really good edge in spell casting by giving me extra primal dice. I put everything else in an Ironjaw's Fist and Warlord so I can justify getting an extra artifact. And the extra command points from Strategist from Warlord is really useful, especially for an army like mine, which consumes so much command points every turn. I have to give a huge shout out to Basa and to Eagle, like Miguel Aguila, for helping me write this list, helping me brainstorm and just challenging me and telling me that I should try weirder things, and it actually paid off.
It's actually hilarious. I was like giggling like a while ago because like, this is the most innovative list yet for Iron Jaws. It just sparks in my mind like a monkey having like finally a monkey finally evolving from like actually using tech and magic. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what if I teleport?
this list
I mean,
works really well. Like the
It does.
the shamans are slow, so the teleport into Horfrost is kind of big.
It's not just that. Why don't you make kwento about like how you use teleport later? Actually, it's really
Yeah.
annoying.
yeah. So the teleport was really useful in most of my games, but I think the extra weird Nob Shaman was really good too because there are some missions when we're not doing half siege deployment. I can set up one of the shamans on the far right next to some pigs. He can still cast horror for us, but also enable surround and destroy. It doesn't. It doesn't with that and like the unit of 3 pigs, I get to enable certain battle tactics based on the battle plans presented in the pack that I normally wouldn't be able to if I had brought my standard army. Because the way this season is set up is that MSU is very important, or small units, right? That you can just throw around who are really fast. And Iron Jaws is fast, but the unit base size is overall really bulky. So it's hard to achieve certain battle tactics, and I think that by adding that extra weird Nob Shaman, I'm able to do that.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Great deck.
Yeah. Well, your old deck would actually struggle a lot with the season, but this
Yeah.
really blended in with really well with the season. Not having magic in your old list, I really was not a fan. Whenever we'd play, when you use null dust, it basically never worked.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there were 2 Nagashes in this tournament, would have been funny to see how it would have happened. I
Or
think
with
it would
Crow.
times. Oh yeah, or with Croak and that slant.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It would be, but I think that overall, and I'll explain why later, the Andorian Acolytes really, really just saved me in a lot of my games.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
good.
it made our
Very
mid
good.
consistent. Yep. All right, and that's all I gotta say about that. So let's go over to round 1.
All right.
Nico, tell us about your round 1. Oh yeah.
All right.
In round 1, we played Lines of Communication.
Yeah, so for lines of communication, actually, I had a lot of practice with this because this is the battle plan that kept fucking me over. Because when you play Gits, it's such a huge deal when you fail a charge, right in front of the opponent's face, and it costs an extra command point to re-roll your charges, right? But usually, I use my command points to at the double a squig when we're under the bad moon because I just shoots my squigs over something or into
Right.
the thing. Yeah. So I played against Joshua, and he brought a really really cool Lumineth melee build. And shout out to my Lumineth players out there, to other Lumineth players out there. This guy brought a melee Lumineth Blade Lord heavy list with no sentinels. Surprise, surprise.
Crazy,
I was
right?
I was hoping to fight a sentinel list with twigs. I just wanted to test my metal against it, but this was an interesting fight because those Blade Lords would do really well, sort of, against squig herds. In a way, yeah. So the way the match went was, I turtled up. I moved forward into the objectives, but I didn't actually charge my squig herd ahead. I moved up forward. This is actually the start of the game. I moved up forward with my squig herd in a line, positioning where I gave them all my buffs. And then my Mangler just started picking off units one by one from the corners and just moving back next to the squig herd. So there was no safe way of dealing with. There was no trading basically
Right.
with my. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, because against against the shooting Lumineth build, I would have just charged forward with everything already, tried to maximize how many bodies can get in. But since there was no shooting here, my Mangler was free to just bounce around, picking off important units, while my squig herd hung back basically, holding the objectives.
Right.
So yeah. Sadly, when the squig herds eventually got into combat, because he halved their movement, which really sucked. He went first, half my movement. That was really good on his part. But they did get like an 8-inch charge eventually.
Uh-huh.
And basically, since Joshua screened in a way that even when I charged the Wardens, his Bladers were also engaged in the back. Every time he kills something, my squig herd would take out a unit of Wardens and half a unit of Blade Lords with them.
Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then eventually he had to make a Hail Mary and charge Eltharion with Dawn Riders into the Squig Herds, and the Squig Herds ate Eltharion. They also
Ooh.
killed Eltharion when they fought upon death.
Of
Yep,
course they do.
Yeah.
that would do
So
it.
how did you deal with his list had Severeth, right? I would imagine Severeth would like get behind the lines and just eat up your buff units.
Kill
Oh,
the
okay.
shrine.
Or killed the shrine. So funny story was he actually went first. He went big, went finest hour, did the exact same thing what you did, but he
Mm-hmm.
went for my Andorian Acolyte actually. He went
Mm.
my Andorian Locust. He went for the Fungoid Cave Shaman, killed him, but didn't have enough movement to move safely back, so he moved into the corner. So what happened was that corner was under the bad moon. So all I had to do was just run a
Oh,
unit of 10, yeah, 10
okay.
Boingrots and kill Severus that way.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Mm.
But after that, it was a good game, but in the battle of attrition in the center, he didn't have enough damage output to deal. Even with Gravetide, actually, surprisingly, the Sprig Herd held up really well.
Mm-hmm.
They never got wiped this tournament,
Mm.
and it's game.
Did you have to recur any units with your subfaction ability in this one?
Just one 5-man Boingrat unit.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah, I
fair.
sent them as a skirmisher in the far and where my weak flank was, just to grab objectives and counter charge just in case.
Did did he manage to get total eclipse off in this mission?
Mm.
No, I actually unbound that, but
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
Big.
by the time he did cast it though, I kind of was in a comfortable position because Shining Company works really well, right? If you have like
Right.
more than 5 models. But the
Right.
problem was my squigs were doing impact hits on the charge. The
Yeah.
Mangler every time he'd charge a unit with at least like 5 to 10, he would do like against the Blade Lords, he dealt like 7 mortal wounds on the charge with 10 dice. It was really
Right.
good.
Yeah. So I was thinking that lines of communication plus total eclipse would have been really in favor of Lumineth, but
That's huge. You're right.
So I guess it's good that you unbound them pretty early.
Yeah.
Not just that, but I'm playing Squig Herds. My main highlight for this army is the Squig Herd, and they don't really receive or issue commands anyways.
That's true. They don't
A
care.
lot of that's actually a reason why I like the list I brought. A lot of my buffs don't need command points to use. It's automatic.
Don't even
That's
need to roll
cheating.
for it.
Yeah, just fight upon death, mortal wounds and sixes, extra red,
And it's all
and
free. Jeez.
Yeah. You just have to position well,
Yeah.
and you get it. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Some
I'm
of
thinking-
some of them are like 3 inches, right? So that's the limitation that it has.
That's really hard. Yeah, exactly. The 3
Yeah.
inches is what makes it really hard because the minute you charge your squigs forward, you move like 24
Yeah.
inches, they're gone. There's no
The
way
buff
to catch up
pieces
with
won't
that.
be able to catch up.
I'm
Exactly.
guessing that did you win this game?
Yeah, I won this game. The Mangler was the MVP here. He just kill something, fight another day into the range of my buff units, so they can buff him again, and then rinse and repeat just over and over again behind the wall of Squig Herds. Basically, that's the game
Right.
plan there.
Nice.
Right?
Okay. So let's move on to good job, good job. Let's move on to Dennis's game. Not the
Oh,
best pick, but this is the best one I could find.
All right. So this was my game against Kino, who brought an Idoneth Deepkin list. It's got the standard Achillean King, the angry Achillean King build, with some sharks, some more eels, and a block of 20 reavers. Or no, thralls rather, and then 10-man reaver. And he's under Morphan, so if I don't get to wipe out his Namarti units, then they just come back to life almost instantaneously.
Right.
So what happened
Is that a
here?
rally?
Hmm?
Is that a rally when they just
No.
Yeah. At the end of each battle shock, he gets to bring D3+3 in Namarti to a unit.
Oh,
Which
that's
is like,
shit.
yeah, that's every
That's
battle shock. So like, yeah,
Pretty good.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was he charged. So first round we basically just scored some points, not really engaging. But at the start of the second round, he engaged with his Achillean King and tried to take down Gargant. Wasn't able to though, and in turn I wasn't able to kill his Achillean King because he's got Void Shield Darkness, which gives everyone around him a -1 to hit, which is like
That's
against
great.
Gargants. That's all kinds of debuffs are pretty big
Yeah.
against Gargants. So I had a lot of trouble hitting that guy. Uh, and then, unfortunately, he moved his block of the Marquis Thralls and Reavers forward with no intention of charging them. And so on my turn, I was able to just charge in and deal tons of impact hits to them, and basically just wipe them out. Um, then all that was left was just eels and his sharks and the king going to the also the Eidolon as well, but it's not exactly a killy unit, so it's not. I didn't really like care for it that much. Um,
Right.
so yeah, going into third turn, which is the most dangerous turn for any army playing against IDK. They have strike first for both turns of the round. Yeah, basically all that was left was the sharks and the king and a few eels, and yeah, even with the strike first, he took down one gargant, but and I think another small one, but that was basically game at the end of that third round. Um, so yeah,
Oh, okay. By the end of the third round, so the strike first didn't really help him too much, sadly.
yeah, not as
Uh,
much.
did he have like an Italian king and Volturnos or whatever?
He did have Achillean
Here's
King.
a king. Here's a
Yep.
king.
He had a king and well, I guess it's hard to capitalize on high tide when a lot of your stuff is dead already by round 3.
Yeah.
That is true.
Especially with wound dense units. It won't really hurt you if he's engaged with like 4 gargants that are relatively healthy and
Yep.
splits his attacks. It's not enough to take down your army. You gotta focus down a gargant for you.
Yeah, that was what Kino was saying at the end of the game. He was saying that he spread his forces a little too thin. He wasn't focusing on one Gargant at a time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, basically all throughout this game, all three of my Gargants were just staying together and just healing from the big eater command trait.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah, that's big.
he was dealing some
D3s.
damage, but I was just gaining them back. So that was a bit
It's
too much.
D3 is a really good mitigation against you because lalo pa with King Broad having that 5-up ward save now is really frustrating for a 40 plus wound model.
Yep.
That's gonna take forever to chew, especially if the one giving it the King Broad is another Mega Gargant, right?
Yeah.
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 And you got everything, like you said a while ago, I guess you just bunched up together. So no matter what he killed, King Broad still had something next to him to
That's
bodyguard
true.
him.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good play. Because that was actually, this battle plan with 3 objectives in the center, I think that was the smartest play for you. Because you don't need to control all 3. Just focus on one flank, right? With your Gargants. You're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Shout out to Kino, though. Like,
Yeah.
Kino, this is his first tournament, right?
That's his first GT as well, and he
That's
was going up
true.
against King Broad Stomp. Very unconventional army, and Aidna Deepkin I think is not the easiest army to play, so it's probably a good learning experience.
It is. Yeah.
It's
And
not-
he's also missing like the ship. He wasn't able to bring.
Oh, he wants a Gloom Tide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think the Gloomtide. I think the Gloomtide would have hurt him more here against you. He just
Yeah,
chucked it at him.
that's
He can
true.
bring 2. He can bring 2 Gloomtide shipwrecks. So
Yeah.
he have 2 stuck at him.
Yay!
Wait.
Thanks for the terrain that I can throw at you.
Oh, yeah, I have a question. So, if you throw a garrison and there are models inside, and you destroy the garrison, does it count as being demolished for the purposes of having to roll for every model inside?
Oh no! It's the rule specifically says that everything on it or garrisoned in it, players must set them up wholly within 6 of that terrain piece, and then
But
they
if you
take
can't,
mortal
only
wounds.
within 6 are dead.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Nico.
If you can't fit all of them inside, wholly inside 6 inches, I
Yeah,
guess
they're
they're
slain.
dead.
Yep.
So if you just surround it in
Yeah.
a way that there's no, yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, so there is a way. So yeah, the ship might not have been like super good against
That's
you
true,
in
that's
this
true.
context. But that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. But him having an extra screen would be good because not every army can chuck terrain at anyone else.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
true, and you can only pull one terrain per
Yeah,
for
that's
each of
true.
your terrains.
Yep.
You can't pull
Yeah.
both.
Okay. Fairs. So, okay. Moving on to the
Alright.
next game.
Round 1.
All right. So, round one, I was facing off against Risa, and she brought her Night Hunt. She brought a Nagash list,
Nagash.
and it's got several like Night Hunt pieces on there. It's a lot of Blade guys. She played Emerald Hosts, and she correctly chose to take my Wizard and my War Chanter as the cursed target. So they were taking D3 damage every battle round. What happened here, though, was if you look at the deployment on the screen, Risa deployed her Chain Rasps and her Blade guys on the right side, while everything else was on the left. My army is actually a lot. She was a lower drop army. My army had many drops, so I could wait for her to bait to finish deploying her battle regiment before I committed my forces. I threw my slow units at the flank I didn't want to engage yet, and all my fast ones, including my Maw Crusher, would be on my left side to challenge her weak flank. So all I did was throw all my fast units at the weaker side of her army, killed all of them, and then gummed up the center and the side, and eventually just pushed her back to her deployment zone because I was basically throwing my entire army against half her army.
You're such a bully. Like,
Well, I'm the bully.
yeah, I mean, all right.
I mean,
But I bet they had fun. But it's just hilarious that these new players are playing against like these two like Iron Jaws and Gargons. Just like such a unique experience for like new players, right?
Oh, you mean Gits?
No.
Dude, shut up. Don't act like you're not part of this. Like
Joshua put up a good fight, and his spells worked well against me.
Risa put up a good fight. Oh yeah,
I'm
and
sure
I want to shout out to Risa because she came here really prepared. Nagash, I think, is a complicated piece to use, but she came with cards and notes and many other tokens that can help that symbolize that help reflect the game state or the buffs that were on the units. And I think that if everyone came to tournaments as prepared as she was, games would go a lot more smoothly. So shout out to her. This is her first ever tournament, and it's a GT, and she played I think she played really well.
she had those tiny cardboard cutouts for abilities that she could just. That's not GW, right? She just made those.
No, she just printed. I think she just printed those out.
On card,
Printed
it
those
was
and
like a card.
put them in like
Like
card sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah, all the visual aids were really good. So at the end of the day, what happened was I pushed forward. I killed everything besides Nagash, and we called it around, I think, round 3 or round 4.
Did the guys get the Hand of Dust anything?
No, I was going. Actually, here's the thing.
Or
I was
purple
also
sand.
putting my Maw Crusher in with Finest Hour, Destroyer onto Nagash, but she piled her Spirit Host in such a way that I couldn't get the Nagash. So that was a really good move.
Nice.
Oh my god! And then you just get Hand of. I like even if I were her and I knew I was losing, I would get so much satisfaction from just Hand of Dusting on my
I stayed 3 inches away from that. I'm not letting that. I try not to let that happen.
I just realized Risa with her like her cards, she can play Nagash like a Yu-Gi-Oh player. She's like casts a spell and just throws the card
It's
at
my
you.
trap card.
It's my
Yeah.
Hand of Dust.
Also with Ravanax, she rolled a 17
Ooh.
with 3Ds and basically melted 2 Gorgroths on the spot. But unfortunately, after that, the Ravanax had to roll higher than 9 just to be able to deal damage and
Yeah.
didn't quite get there. So
Did she get off the?
roll 3d6.
Hmm.
sorry.
Go Nico.
Then it's,
Nico, you first. Then Dennis.
yeah. Sorry, I was just asking. She rolled a 17, but afterwards, do you get to roll 3d6 or just 2d6?
So what happens is you need to roll 3d6 for the movement, and the damage that it deals on a 2+ is going to be based on the difference of what you rolled and the movement of the target.
But you get a free reroll when you summon it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
she only rolled a 17. She didn't need that reroll. She was fine.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. It was a good game. I was able to take the W on this one. Lines of communication is done. That's round 1.
All right.
Okay, moving on to the next round. Oh, Nico versus Basa.
This was a
This was
pain
a
in
crazy one. Sorry, before we start, the mission that was played in this one was every step is forward, meaning that units that charge would get an extra +1 to their to how much they counted as on objectives, and if you retreat, you count as 0, which is very weird for Night Hunt.
Okay, this game you got to watch this. You got to watch this game. This was a really intense game. This was really interesting. I don't know where to start. Basically, it was like a battle of attrition with these chunky ass Sword Warriors, right? But me
Yeah.
getting to charge all the time gave me a let me dominate on objectives, like especially with squig herds, right? The minute they charge something, that's 36 times 2 on an objective.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's 70.
Disgusting.
72 objectives. So it's-
Yes. This is actually an objective where I could like outnumber a Gargant on an objective. I just charge the squig herd. I could outnumber like 2 Gargants if I wanted to.
3 even.
All of them.
3
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With 3 Gargants.
But yeah, so this was actually really scary because I really hate Seraphon. Seraphon's a bad matchup for Gloomspite Gits. In a way, sometimes it could be. Yes, because of all the spell casting, and he could snipe out my small units with spells.
He was playing Coalesce though, so I think there wasn't as much long range spell pressure, right?
Right. Coalesced was actually really good also against me in a way that it gave him the bodies to actually block me off. I couldn't finish off a unit in one fell swoop, especially with the Bounders being neutered with the -1 damage. So this game was actually really close. It came down to him having to get the grand strategy at the end. Highlights of this game was him almost killing Croak after he took 2 damage from Battle Shock. Because when I Squigs ran, I dealt 2 mortal wounds to Croak. And he rolled I think he rolled a 19. Oh wait, no, he got a 19. He rolled like a 17 and went up to 19,
Oh, okay.
almost a 20. Yeah. He almost from Battle Shock. And another big one was when Mangler Squig did the giant boing and killed Croak in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Oof.
But that put me in range for Blizzard, and then he went next. And then he casted Hoarfrost, failed, tried to reroll. He said he went into Blizzard, but then he wait, no, I'll try to reroll Hoarfrost, and then got a miscast.
Oh no!
That was huge.
Okay.
That was so
That was-
huge.
That sealed the game, I think.
And then after that, that's when I felt the panic set in a bit. He just like at doubled his slot away from the Mangler Squig at that point. It came really close though. He almost won. He basically had to charge into my squig herd to deny me my grand strategy. But the problem was his Bastiladon that did the charge had no command points left, had no heroes left, had to charge into a unit of fresh squig, half a unit of squig herd that just came back, and he only had 5 wounds left. And my Fungoid Cave Shaman was alive to Moonface Mamet the Bastiladon also for that extra red.
I think.
So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it came down to Grand Strat, right?
Yeah.
So was he trying to deny you yours?
Yes, he was trying to deny me mine to win, basically. I won by I think 1 or 2 points.
And
because
you
of
only
Grand
had the
Strat.
Bastiladon, right, to do it.
Yes, because everything else died at this point.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh man. Can you imagine though if the matchup was against Starborn, he just teleport the unit to your back and be like, "Your Grand
Yeah.
Strat is nothing."
Which is actually why I held back with the stuff I recurred with my Loon Shrine. I actually kept it in a way that it's kind of close to my army for me to respond.
Right.
And when I bring back and even if my army engages in the middle, I just have to move a little bit to be in that bad moon aura of the Loon Shrine, even if the bad moon moves away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like invisible like auras and stuff that you need to be mindful of it gets, and I think you played this one pretty good. And
Yeah, you gotta watch. You gotta watch this game. We got really serious, like in the middle. You were getting really noisy and then really serious.
oh shit. Yeah, I heard a lot of whooping and cheering from both sides here, so a lot of big moments happened.
This game was stressful, as you saw, because you were my next match after this. This drained the hell out of me. Yeah, it was a well fought game by Basa. It's the first time we actually fought. We
Yeah.
always thought other in tournaments, and this is the actually first time we played.
Yeah, Basa's very scary. If you play into his element, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, I'm just glad we heard they only do 1 damage each, so it didn't really like nerf the Coalesce thing didn't really nerf him.
Yeah,
I'm
and
actually-
all your bone rot. Oh, sorry, go, Dennis. You first.
I'm actually curious why he chose the Bastiladon, because he brought a list almost like this in the previous tournament. He had like
Yeah.
Skink Star Priests before, and now it turned
Right.
into a Bastiladon. I'm just curious as to what his thought process was in this change.
Well, it kind of slapped in a way. He was picking off some stuff in my army from the back. The only thing protecting my Fungoid Cave Shaman was his innate ability to be invisible outside of 12 inches.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I think that he wanted to add range pressure to his army because even if you think that the solar engine is not very consistent, it being only 3 shots, 3s and 3s,
Red
red
3
3
damage.
each. It's something you have to respect because if
It's
you
true.
don't keep your heroes next to your battle line, that can easily snipe something.
That's not very consistent in our game, actually.
Yeah, he can do an all attack and make it like 2s and 3s, which is not hard, especially since it negates most people's armor saves.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, so it might not be consistent, but it's something that you always gotta respect.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about for this game, Nico?
Yeah, another unique thing here was no Comet's Call. That was something I was really dreading also, the Comet's Call. Which is
Yeah.
why I kept going back next to the Loon Court all the time just for that bodyguard, the 3-up bodyguard.
Yeah, because Comet's Call is a starboard spell.
That's interesting. I always thought what you call it? See, Croak had it.
I think it
But
used to be a War Scroll spell in the
Yeah.
Slan Starmaster, but not anymore.
It used to also
Right.
be a Ward Scroll spell in Croak, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, Croak miscasted like I think twice with
Ugh.
Celestial Deliverance.
Oh no.
The Manger fighting another day, they fight another day, is really good because I got to bounce out of that 18-inch bubble for Celestial Deliverance. But either way, he miscasted with Croak, so that was really. He almost died from miscasting also, with 3d6 after miscasting. He was really close there.
Okay. No, that's actually really fucked. If it's fucked if he miscasts and then gets blown up by his own
Yeah.
miscast. That's extremely hard to do for Croak.
Yeah, he again, it was by 1. He only did 1 more. He rolled like 2 6s and a 5. That was.
I would be so discouraged if that happened to me. But either way, like, sounds like you got the W in this one by like a couple points.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay,
Right.
so moving on to the next round in round 2. Oh shit, it's me and Ben.
shit.
I'll let you
So-
talk about this first, Lance.
Me? Okay, this was a very fast game because we're
Yeah.
both destruction players, and it helps that we knew each other's armies. Shout out also to General Custer, their Chris over there, who brought chocolates for everyone. He's there in this
Yeah.
team with the glasses against the glass skin. So, what happened was, I took the first turn, I think. Dennis, you deploy the Man Crusher over at the corner because in every step is forward. There's a small slit on the side of each deployment where you can deploy a relatively thin base model. So
You
because
fit?
the Man Crusher was there, I decided to just throw 6 Gore Guns to snipe it because I don't know. It felt that I could get the objective and kill a model without having any repercussions. So I was able to score hold 1, hold 2, hold more with that very very easily. I on turn 1, I think I did the one where I needed to have 3. I know I did magical dominance on turn 1. I think.
Yep.
which is another really nice thing about having actual wizards for the first time in a while. So after that, Dennis took the turn. He moved forward. I forgot, and used one of those King Broad tactics because I also use Gorgruntus to take the bottom objectives or the
Yep.
ones closer to me. It's so easy to do. You just need to put Broad and their unit on it to just take it. It's so
Yep.
annoying.
It's King's Conquest.
Yeah, but at that point, but that battle tactic did force Broad to have to move from the front lines to the side.
That's true.
And I think that I won Prio after that, gave it to you, and it forced you to move Broad to kill the Gorgruntas to claim just to secure that point, and you moved all your Mega Gargants out to the front, right?
Yeah, which I felt was. I told you this after the game. I think that was a mistake. Yeah, I don't. There was no reason for me to like go forward too much. And the truth is, I kind of got greedy with wanting to shoot with the terrain.
Yeah. So he moved like you moved 1 inch of a terrain piece and you chucked it. I can't even remember where it got thrown. It hit like a Gorg.
I threw some rocks at. I threw the terrain both times at the brutes.
Yeah, and it killed like 6 of them.
Yeah, and then you just rallied them back.
No, I didn't rally them back that much. I rallied like 2 back overall. I think
that's true.
So it's like 18 damage from shooting, which is kind of gross.
In retrospect, I should have done that to like the Gorgruntas instead. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt that at that point the Gorgruntas were more in range to be a threat. The brutes had to take a little extra work just to get to the front line. But
True.
Yeah. So what happened next was Dennis moved everything down the center, and I was very lucky with my Mighty Destroyer procs. So I was able to charge, do impact hits with both the Maw Crusher. Make a charge with the Maw Crusher and the Gorgruntas, and I was able to retreat after the hero phase charge, so I can stay outside 3 inches and prevent you from roaring me. This is also in the same turn that the Gorgruntas had Ren 2 from Warfrost. Then I did a Water, charged everything in, and I rolled pretty hot. The Maw Crusher was able to use Destroyer to kill the Mega Gargant with Finest Hour and All Out Defense.
Yeah.
Well,
I was saving on 4s, by the way, and I rolled I had to make like 6 saves. I made 1. Took 30 damage.
That was really bad. And then the 6 Gorgruntas was able to charge at the 2 Mega Gargants. This picture is actually what happened after.
Yeah. You see that big space in the middle where the Gorgruntas are just hovering around? That's where the 2 Mega Gargants were.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Iron God's gross, Dennis, right? Let's just both agree to that. Iron is hella gross right now.
It is, 42% win rate. But yeah, Iron Jaws can hit really hard. After that, they killed the Man Crusher as well. Funny enough, because the turn went so ridiculously well, I failed my tactic, led to the Maelstrom, but I wasn't complaining. I was in a really good position after that point. And after that, it was just a matter of just chipping away at Broad and that Man Crusher.
Yeah.
The Man Crusher and Broad moved forward. Broad, even with Forward to Victory, failed the charge, so I got very lucky there. And we just killed the Man Crusher who charged, and then the turn after that, I just kept throwing everything at Broad until Broad died.
Did Broad's ward save protect him for a while?
No, by that time nobody was left there to help him with the
Bodyguard?
wards. Yeah.
Oh, that sucked.
Yeah, so I think there were just a few learnings in this one.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a really good game for me. What do you think, Dennis? Like, what would you have changed?
So, I guess the biggest thing with King Broad Stomp is, at least from how I play it, is that Broad can take a lot of punishment. So I think maybe in future games I should be more confident in his ability to do so. With this game especially, I placed him to the side and I didn't really move him forward towards the main bulk of the threat. Um, so yeah, he by the time he got there, there was nothing he could do anymore. So yeah, that's actually true with like some of the another with my game with Nico. Uh, it was just
Also
chilling
that
at the back doing nothing while a Gargant gets inhaled. Uh, but yeah, Broad having a 5-up ward should be something I should, I guess, take advantage of some more.
Yeah, yeah. If I think that the battle tactics were deceptive because if the missions made the objectives more to the side, then the battle tactics where you need Broad and another unit
Yeah,
to claim on the objective seem easy, but it kind of forces Broad off, kind of to go in a segue, right?
that's true. And if that happens, I should have just moved my other Gargants so they're nearby Broad, just so they're more bundled up together. Because the turn that the round that you gave me the turn, I moved the Gargants. They were so far away from Broad. Um, so yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
it was a bit.
yeah, pretty bad move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the game ended kind of early-ish because we're both destruction. It's either going to be him completely ruffle stomping me or the other way around. And I was just lucky this time that I got to do the ruffle stomping. So yeah, GG Dennis.
Yeah, GG.
GG. So let's move on to round 3.
All right. So this was my game against Alexis, who was
Stormcast.
yeah, he brought a Stormcast Eternals list with what do you call it? Evocators, what they called.
A bunch of the stuff you don't usually see,
Yeah,
basically.
Secretors, Evocators. Although
Fulminate.
he does have the Fulminators and the Annihilators. Not Grand Hammer ones though, but just
Yeah,
the
the short
tankier
ones.
ones. Um,
Shout out to all our friends in Add to Cart Gaming. But yeah.
yeah. was it was a good match. Um, the Fulminators can definitely kill one
Electrician.
Gargant, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But there were some rolls here that I was very lucky to have rolled. Like he charged in with the Fulminators, and one of my Gargants was left with one wound, so it stayed alive and just dealt some more damage to them, and then it healed back a bit more with Big Eater.
Oh, big
Um,
eaters.
yeah. And then since the Fulminators weren't able to take down the Gargant, he also failed one of his tactics, so that helped with me taking the game with the scoring here. Um, And then the Vanguard Raptors, you can see in the photo, was just hanging back there, but they weren't really doing as much. I mean, they were softening up the Gargants for sure, but you know, with the Big Eater and all that healing and wards, yeah, the wound density and the damage was a bit too much. Although I did tell him that he should have um, deep struck with his annihilators in one of the rounds, so that he was sure to take down one Gargant, because that was a big deal. My Gargant uh, staying alive at one wound was yeah, that was brutal. Um, so yeah.
Uh,
Did did power? So the mission that we play, I forgot to mention, is Power Flux.
Yeah.
Did him having a wizard? I think he had a locust, right? Did him having a locust make the game harder for you at all?
No, not really.
Oh,
Yeah, we kind of took the right side of the table. Um, Broad and a Man Crusher against like a unit of Secretors on the other end. So that was mine basically, and then like two Mega Gargants and the other small Gargants on the other end. It was basically me just taking both objectives all of the rounds. And it didn't help that I got additional points from killing his
Oh, the wizard.
acolyte, yeah, and then also the evocators, I think, because they're wizards, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. No, that makes sense. Well, GG.
yeah.
It was
Looks
a
like-
breath of air to see Stormcasts again, though, because I miss the days when JP would show up in the tournament with like Stormcasts. Yeah,
Hey, there were three Stormcast players came
Yeah.
out of nowhere for this one. That's pretty cool.
All with different flavors,
It was
right?
so nice to see these guys in like. You know, it's like seeing a long lost friend on the battlefield. Like, hey,
Oh,
guys.
no. When Ionis comes out, you're gonna be so sick of Stormcast.
Oh my god.
He's coming out.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Last week or something. In like internationally anyway, or maybe it's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm sure there's gonna be really good builds with Ionos. Not just Stormcast, but with everybody ally him into their own
yeah.
army.
Every order player is gonna be getting an Ionis. So jealous.
Sigmar benefits the most from Ionos right now.
Okay.
Not even Stormcast, no.
Not even Stormcast.
Well, we'll see. Chaplain of the Dragon is always nice. Well,
Yeah.
GG's. Good job, Dennis, for taking this one.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. This.
Oh.
We can We can
So-
skip this one in a way.
Okay, I guess next round. So okay,
Yeah.
no. So Nico, how about you? You want to do talking for this one?
Whoopsie poopsie, I deployed wrong.
So
All right.
So
Yeah?
this is actually a really bad picture that I picked because at this point we were still deploying.
Yeah, but this kind of shows already how I fucked up. But, all right. I was so tired by this round. I misplayed my deployment really bad. Okay. So what happened was, I actually did not want to fight you in this list. This battle plan actually.
Yeah, I was lucky.
I really did not want to fight you in this one. I wanted to fight you in the previous one because we both charge and they count more than whatever.
Oh
right?
yeah, no, yeah, that's fair.
That would have been much better for me. This one was gonna be difficult because I had one locus, you had two.
Yeah, you actually.
Yeah, two, I think.
One thing, sorry, real random. One thing I wish I did was if I had to fight someone else and every step is forward. If you fought me, my pigs kill them, and I hunt and crush during my turn. I count as three models per pig on my opponent's turn, which would also have been super cool. Sorry, anyways. Yeah.
Anyways, so this one was really difficult because the locus was a really big advantage. Also, I deployed in the wrong way. I thought I had it covered, but I guess I should have just put my the loon court, I guess, to the far right a little bit more. Then I think I would have been okay there. You did the whole teleport, and actually, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't gamble with because when you did your spells, you had a primal there, but you rolled really low with the teleport. That was like barely made it, right? That was like a one and a 4.
Okay. So we deployed, and Nico deployed in such a way that he wanted to be 30 inches away from me. And
Yeah.
the way our games normally work is if I ever outdropped him, I would always give him the first turn because it's my
Yeah.
style to counter punch. But
Yeah.
because everyone was 30 inches away, and I saw that if you look at this deployment, the way us putting our models down, Nico put his dice bag on that one spot that my Maw Crusher could actually land on.
Tactics.
And I was like looking at that, and I wasn't saying anything. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna leave that spot open. And he kind of did.
That was my bad. I
Oh,
was not
no.
great, but well played.
Yeah,
You got to smash the Loon Shrine there. I kind of had the chance to bounce back, but I wasn't expecting the pigs. I keep forgetting pigs can do their own mighty destroyers by themselves.
Yeah, so it's a battle trait, so the army could do it themselves. And even then, my general was there to give it to them anyway, because my general's my weird knob, and all the other heroes can. So what happened
But
was
you
turn
teleported
one.
them in the first there. You teleported them all the way back behind me, really far from your general. So I was really surprised the way you mighty destroyed from the back. Like my
yes.
soul.
So what happened was I took turn 1. I did magical dominance. I failed to cast Mystic Shield. I failed to cast Hoarfrost. The anxiety was building up. I had to cast teleport, or else I was gonna lose. So, but I rolled a 3 and a 1, and I was internally screaming, and I said, "Fuck it!" I had 1 primal die. Let's try this. And I rolled a 3, which is exactly what I needed to teleport the Maw Crusher. Fast forward to the point.
Exactly.
It was so interesting because Nico put both his locus and the Loon Shrine right next to each other, and I'm like, I'm totally gonna take this.
Prime target.
I gotta gamble. But
And in a mission like Power Flux, killing the locus on turn 1 is really huge.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And I got pinned there. I killed a lot. I killed like a hell of a lot. But by the time I finished off like a lot of your stuff, you just had like locusts just sitting on the objectives, and it's outscored me at that point already.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where the first turn really set the tone for everything. Because every time we did our practice games, my game plan is always going to have to be to break the shrine, and I have to trick you in such a way that I have to break the shrine. Because the moment I do that, the fight goes into my favor. But otherwise, the game, like, it's really, really hard for me to trade with you when the shrine is still active, especially since you're King's Gits.
Yeah. But I actually think having the fight upon death, it was the pigs pinning me for like 2 turns that really fucked me over there. If I did not get pinned there, I had a better chance because the Magnus Pig was free to bounce around to like the far left and to the back. But I got pinned 2 times because of Hunt and Crush. Was really that was something that you didn't do to me before, I guess. But by the time I picked up, it was a bit too late already. But the fight upon death tech actually salvages the game plan of not being able to recycle quite a bit because I get to take down stuff with me. But sadly, I got pinned by Hunt and Crush. That was what capitalized the game talaga. The two Hunt and Crushes into my Magnus Squig, so I'd have to retreat. Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah. And being able to pile into it at the end of combat to prevent it from fighting me was huge. So
that was really annoying.
Yeah, well,
that's why I had to pile in my Gabapalooza at one point already just to block you from doing that.
That was actually really smart. But at that point, I think the points were a bit too far in my favor already.
Yeah, Power Flux lets you really swing really wide, especially if you have just more wizards, more Andorian Acolyte, more Andorian Locuses on this battle plan.
Yeah, so the event pack was released fairly early, and I wasn't even expecting to join this tournament.
Yeah.
And when Louis Dragonforge, the head TO of Dragonforge, insisted that I join, I basically built my list to suit the battle plans, and I think it really paid off this time.
Right. And I guess that's also something I didn't do with this tournament. I wanted to bring my style is I wanted to bring something I like, and I want to make it work in any battle plan. That's what I did with flies before. My Nurgle flies. I just brought it to any tournament. But so this is something that I guess this isn't as forgiving as Nurgle, I guess.
Oh no, definitely not. But you still played well despite the circumstance. I just think that, man, there's an alternate reality where you deploy the Fungoid Cave Shaman 1 inch to the right slightly, and I wouldn't be able to get that shrine on turn 1.
You would have gotten the Fungoid at least.
The Fungoid.
And then you would have hunted and crushed.
No, I wouldn't.
You would have hunted and crushed in closer to the objective, and then on my turn, at the end of the charge phase, you would have just stepped on it.
I would have, that's true. But it sets the tone really on turn 1, being able to do it in turn 1.
I needed to put Loon Court all the way in the back, and that's what I did with my games later on with Alexis.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's behind me. I have to learn how to. That's the whole point of bringing the Loon Court. Those 6 models, you just put it behind you in case of deep strikes.
Yeah. So.
Good game, though. That was good.
It was a great game, actually. And even after losing the Loon Shrine, it was still a really tough fight. Especially with the Magnus Quake, jumping around for 2 turns. But 2 rounds in a row. It's like me, Dennis, and Nico all fighting each other, and we're gonna go to round 4 now after a long rest. And bam!
Yay!
It's another. It's another like,
Even
you
more
know,
infighting.
more infighting. So in round 4, we moved over the Fountains of Frost.
The
So
battle
Nico
of
and I
the
were bowing
losers.
Dennis. Battle. Don't
Battle
say
of the
that.
Kings.
So mean.
Battle of the Kings, King Broad versus King's Gits.
Oh yeah, King Wars.
Uh,
Oh my god. Like you
No.
said, like what I used to say when I first lost it with my Nurgle army, defeat is freeing.
Worst catchphrase ever.
Defeat is freeing, so I took the if you want to talk about the Dennis,
oh yeah, sure.
yeah.
So in this game, Nico deployed very defensively. He put his squigs around his Loon Shrine
One
over
corner.
there on the left corner. And then he basically made a really wild, well, not really wild, I guess a Hail Mary charge on, he buffed his Boingrot Bounders, gave them 3 inches of extra movement and an extra rend, was it, right?
Yeah, extra rand.
And then he was basically able to charge into my Gargant with the Nullstone adornment.
It
And
was inside the because that one Gargant was the only thing in the quadrant.
yeah,
bad
in the
moon.
moon, right? Yeah.
That was the only place
Oh
I
yeah.
could charge.
I positioned it in the middle. Uh, and that was enough for you to like put 10 Boingrot bounders just inside the moon. So you were able to run in charge with it. And
Another
then
highlight that
Yeah,
you failed to roar. That was huge. Failing to roar.
that's true. That is true. I failed to roar, which meant you were hitting on 3s and 3s. Rend -3 was it? Yeah.
Yeah, ran 3 on the charge.
Yeah, Rend
That's so
-3. All I had to do was make a few saves on 6s, and I rolled 15 dice and got 1 6.
Oh.
Got
I know, that was
28 dice.
Oh,
28
that's so from 10 Boingrots.
Yeah.
the game plan. The game plan for that was okay. He's gonna move at me. He's gonna shoot my Boingrots off the board with the terrain bullshit. I gotta. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna have to start doing damage first, right? I gotta maximize my output, recycle, then rinse and repeat, cycle charge over and over again. But this game was too close for comfort, dude.
It was, yeah. So he inhaled one of my Gargants at the start, and then, well, the Boingrot Bounders were just,
They died.
you can recur them anyway, so that was a free kill,
Fine,
basically.
Yeah.
And then what happened was I just moved forward a bit, right? And then I won the priority and took it, if I recall
You
correctly.
won Ryo quite a lot in this game.
Yeah, I actually took the turn there,
Yeah, you did.
and I actually made a mistake in my ordering of battle tactics because I took Intimidate the Invaders on turn 2, which was a pretty weird choice for me because I had another choice which was the easy the easy King's Conquest one, which I actually managed to pull off anyway if I chose that tactic instead. So I went up, I ran with my general and moved with Broad. I was able to pray, by the way, to give all of my Gargants +2 to movement. So
That was big.
I was able to move up the board very quickly. I was able to charge with Broad, but I positioned poorly there because Broad was out of 3 inches of any of the Gargants at the end of the turn, which meant he had no wards going to Nico's turn. So at that point, he died almost very quickly to like
There was
some
a
some
point
angry
where
squigs.
Yeah, there was almost a point where you almost redeployed one of your Mega Gargants
Yeah,
into
yeah,
Broad.
yeah. That's
That
true.
was really close.
You moved in, and I only had to like roll a 2 to be able to be within
Oh
3.
no. That was so big. That was so
Oh,
huge. Because I was contemplating if he gets within 2 inches, I'm not charging Broad. I'm gonna make a move for the other Gargant.
Yeah.
Then the minute you rolled that one, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's Broad.
All in on
It has
broad,
to be Broad.
right?
It has to be Broad.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, with the army I brought, I think the other guard, the Man Crusher, dealt more damage than Broad did with attacks, the number
That's
of
true.
attacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Broad was missing a lot of his
And
attacks.
it was yeah, because I had to be fair. I also had the like you said, Gargants do really well when they're debuffed, right? So I
Yeah.
had Fungood Cloud on, and you made a really big play. You tried to make a big play of going for my Mangler because there was a point where you got 3 inches within my Mangler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you almost killed him. If you got some of those attacks in, because it's 5 damage each hit, you could have killed
Yep.
my Mangler right there.
right.
But
That's
that's
true.
-2 to hits effectively already.
Yeah. He was 4s
And
and
he got
3s,
roared.
so that wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not hitting anything.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I think this is a game where Fight Upon Death Squigs did their job. There came a point where I did led into the maelstrom against against your general, and
Yeah.
I was surprised how much damage his general was taking. I almost failed my tactic, which would have lost me the game.
That's
But there
true.
was a point where, since you killed, I think you stomped on one of my squigs.
Hmm.
You stomped on one of my squigs. I just took out the front models and piled in within 3 inches, but out of range to attack.
Yeah.
So I would kill you on that turn. That was huge. You pinned me the entire game. You got me pinned. And Crushers were scoring you all your objectives
Yeah.
by then.
And then what happened after that was it. This screenshot was what happened. I think in the third round. I think
Third round,
I was
yeah,
able
third
to
round.
charge in with my general here, and he went behind the lines and killed like a bunch of heroes that could do
Yeah,
the buffs.
killed 3 of my heroes by sitting here.
Yeah, in one
Just
go he
all
killed 3 of
them.
them. Yeah, and then not seen here is one of my Gargants going around the trees and trying to get near the Loon Shrine and try to smash it. Uh, so
There
yeah,
was we denied each other our grand strat here
That's true.
because you smashed my Loon Shrine. But the interesting thing is, Squig Herd count as battle line.
Yeah.
And I recurred.
I wasn't able to kill it.
Dude.
At one point he managed to return like 15 models to it. Like what the?
Squigs.
Yeah,
I rolled 6 dice. None of them were ones.
Yeah.
And then they were all like 3s and 2s.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh, that's 15.
that was crazy. Like 3
like,
3s
okay.
and 4 2s or something like that. That was 15.
That was dumb. That was
Yeah,
absolutely
that was
dumb.
Yeah. I was so happy I was getting through. I was trying to chew through it, but herders,
it
I
is.
guess.
You know what? For a destruction game, this took us a long time.
It is, yeah. It did.
To
I mean,
maximize our ammo.
yeah. By the we reached the 5th round, and by that time we were already just talking it out. I couldn't score anything anymore because I already took Intimidate the Invaders. But
Yeah.
if I had switched up my battle tactics there, I would have
I would've
gotten
won
that
it,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, an extra 2
Oh
points.
man, it's like a 1 point difference, right?
Yeah. Nico won by 1 point.
So that's stressful to think about.
I actually, because I had Intimidate at the end.
yeah.
Open.
You,
I had
you
followed
had
the
a lot
movement
of
in-
other options too. Yeah.
Yeah. I also could have done Glory Grabbers. That's when a unit that recurred. So I had like 2 bounders somewhere there, right? That came back to the dead.
Yep. You haven't
It was
recurred
like
anywhere.
random.
Man.
Yeah, if I ran them across the board, that they took like an objective,
Hmm.
that would have counted as a tactic also.
Nice. So
Yeah. It was too close for comfort though. That was anyone.
that was
to be
that
honest.
was such a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah. That was dumb. That game was dumb. This is so dumb. You also, another highlight here was I was really excited to see throwing of terrain, and then you rolled that one.
Yeah. So both I got to throw terrain 3 times in this game,
That
and
was 5 shots, dude. That was 5 shots. Yung
yeah,
una.
yeah, and then that other time, yeah, I rolled a one for the D6 attacks, then I rolled a one for the hurl terrain, so I didn't get to do it. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, it
It,
happens.
it happens. It happens. Bound to happen like
Yep.
soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Swingy is swingy. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
GG.
destruction. It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one's not so destruction-y, but it was one of the tougher matches of the game. I got to
Oh,
play against
nice.
Basa, and the thing is, the two of us were sort of list building and geeking out about lists together. I'm not sitting on the wrong side of the board. My Oryx had to go to the other side. Okay, so because I need to avoid his donut. So he has this donut strategy where he has this ring of Saurus warriors with Coalesce,
Yeah.
-1 damage, and he puts them around Croak and Slan. And whenever he casts Celestial Deliverance, it would basically nuke everything around the Saurus warriors, and the Saurus warriors would essentially just tank all the damage. I've had a game before with Jerome where he played with Saurus warriors, and I realized I just would not be able to do that much damage to them because the -1 is just really big, and it already hurts how swingy my
Yeah.
army is. So what happened instead was I waited for him to deploy all of his key pieces and deployed the Maw Crusher and a unit of 6 Gore Gruntas completely on the opposite side. So what happened was I charged. Basically, it's a repeat of what happened against Risa, where I charged everything on my right side and bullied one flank. And I was very fortunate that this was Fountains of Frost and not any other battle plan, because this is where my speed becomes a major advantage against his castle. If he had deployed, okay, and we disagreed on this. In my opinion, he should have deployed Croak and Slan in the center and tried to play defensively for all three and shred my army, and then slowly move up the board after that. But instead, what happened was, yeah. So what happened instead was the two of us both moved counterclockwise on the map. Right? So he started moving toward my objective, which was held by 9 pigs, and I was able to easily take like the center and right objectives on his side. Well, from my perspective, anyway, because I was able to charge the Saurus warriors. If this had been power flux or lines of communication, I would have been totally boned. But in this game, my game plan was to move around the 18-inch kill range of Croak, and that's what saved me. At the very end, however, there was still a chance for him to win, but he used Magical Mayhem, and he was supposed to kill a pig with 4 wounds left.
Ooh.
He rolled really low for Celestial Deliverance in the first, which let me unbind it. The second one dealt 1 wound. The third one dealt 1 wound, and he failed to cast the 4th one.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's really bad.
You
all
hate
of
to
them
see
were
it.
coming together. Yeah, made him fail a tactic and made him just out of reach from being able to stop me.
Was there another tactic he could have done aside from the Magical Mayhem?
He could have done another tactic, but at that point, I had outscored him on primaries a bit too much.
You guys played this game really quick, right? Because I remember when I was playing with Dennis, we were hearing like you guys were already like round 5, and Dennis and I were like round 2 palang, or round 3.
Yeah, because in round 1, we both did surround and destroy. In round 2, I did that one's mine in the center, and he did some magical dominance or something. And then round 3, I did intimidate. Basically, the first 3 rounds were non-engagement rounds, so they were very fast. And Basa's a veteran. He already knows what spells he needs to do even before he does them, so he plays very quickly. And normally, I think spellcasting phases take very long, but he's a very efficient player. And the game was just fun because we were friends, and it was like fast because we both knew each other's armies.
You're right. That's interesting. I think you're right. With if Croak just parked in the middle, no matter where you went, you'd be probably in range of something would be in range of his deliverance.
The logic on his end was that in our previous games, I would always fast one Mighty Destroyer, the Maw Crusher around Croak, and it would be hard for him to move the donut forward especially in a map like this.
Yeah,
Croak was in the center. Because the weakest point, like real quick. The Swords Warriors get +1 defense, so saving throws rather, if they're on a wholly within their own territory or on an objective. This specific mission has this really wide stretch between our territories where he's absolutely vulnerable.
No, I get that. And but I think charging into him is a lot like you fast one behind him, teleporting, fast one behind him. If you screen in a way that it would tag a corner and not croaky yet, and it would slow him down. But I would put you effectively in range for his slun with the Blizzard, and that's what happened in our game also. That was actually very nerve-wracking if he didn't miscast that. So, I think I think it's still a scary play to do that, even if he was in the center, because of the slun being an effective, nuke, basically, the minute you move into the bubble. And if that didn't kill you, the Donut of Doom would afterwards.
Yeah, no, it was a very tough game, but I had to go against all my urges to just charge and challenge the wall, because I knew that if I wasn't patient in this one, I would just lose. Because if I fought him on his terms, the way his list was built, I wouldn't win. And
I get it.
So I was lucky. Well, not lucky. I'm proud to have played that correctly and got the W in this one, making me 4-0 after this one.
I get it.
Okay, so now moving on to the final round, final mission, Nexus Collapse.
Nexus Collapse. Oh man, it's too bad you didn't get to put the butterfly picture, the flower, the squig flower picture. But Stormcast Eternals. This was a really fun game. A lot of the time of our match was consumed by deploying because we were all scared about where he'd drop, about how fast my squigs move. By this point, I learned from our game how to screen, where to put the loon court, so he couldn't drop behind me. He had to drop his annihilators next to me, but it gave me a lot of tactics, actually, available tactics. But highlight of the game here, Alexis is a vet, so even though he's just returning and learning the armies again, learning the addition, he has a lot of good game sense. He picked the right tactics. But he moved into his center objective in a way that I charged the squig herd into his entire army. There's a picture I wish that was here, that the squig herd tagged his entire fucking army.
I saw that.
Yeah, it conga lined all the way to the back with Scragrot, and then I got to take out a huge chunk of everything. It didn't wipe out a unit. It brought his general down to 1 wound. It took out 2 fulminators. It took out half a unit for each of his other stuff. It did whittle down the squig herd quite a lot, though. I have to admit, that was a really scary thing, tagging everything. Yeah.
Oh, really? 360 versus 2000. I wonder what's going to win. Surprise you.
It came. There was a tactic he had to do, Draconic Destruction, where he has to kill a unit, right?
Right.
With the fulminators. But what was interesting was there were still like I think I had 23 wounds left on the squig herd. That's not a lot of squigs. That's probably like
They could run, right?
Yeah, that's 24 squigs basically. 24 squigs. No, he has to kill it with a fulminate. The fulminate unit in combat. It doesn't matter if they run. It has to be in combat, right?
48 wounds.
No, not 48 wounds. I had 12.
Okay, 12.
12 squigs left. Okay.
Yeah, that's 24 wounds effectively.
Man.
Yeah. And he had 2 fulminators. But my squigs by that time were in range of my Gobapalooza's debuff, because they all died to the back. He did a Hail Mary charge with the 2 fulminators, and he left 1 herder with 1 wound left.
No, that.
Same thing. The same thing happened to me. He used his fulminators. Didn't kill the Gargant. Left it at 1 wound too.
That failed the tactic, and
also on the same tactic too. That was brutal.
Oh, shit, that's rough. If he had 1 more fulminator, that would have been big. There was also, I almost failed my tactic, Follow the Moon. I had to own more objectives in him, but my 10 Boingrat Bounders failed a 3-inch charge with a reroll.
Oh wow.
That was huge. But after I moved my Mangler to fight another day into the objective, I recurred a unit of 8. By the time the Squig Herd was dead already, I recurred the Squig Herd onto the objective, 3 inches away from him, to take the objective from him, and I scored being my tactic. And then I won the double turn.
Did you burn? Do you guys burn a lot of objectives?
I burnt. You see where his left side is?
Sure.
I burnt that objective, and I burnt that objective and the one to my farthest left side, the corner objectives,
That's interesting.
because I didn't want him just moving his fulminators there and taking it. I wanted to force him to come to me on my terms. So that's what got me the game. I eliminated flank objectives, so I wanted him to come at me.
Okay.
Yeah. Our round 1 took, I think, an hour and 30 minutes to play out because the entire army was engaged with the Squig Herd at that point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dice being rolled at the same time, so it makes
Yeah,
it really well.
it was really dumb, dude. Like when on my own charge, when fulminators killed 10 squigs, I was 30 attacks into the fulminators. That was really big.
Right. Okay. Well, GG's. Looks like you got this one, right?
Yeah, we ended by round 3. We ended by round 3 when I won the prio because he had nothing else to deal with the army at that point.
Okay, that's fair. And he didn't have a monster either, so he didn't have a way to deny Loon Shrine. So
True.
you'd basically,
Oh, yeah.
you would always like win the fist fight. But yeah, GG's.
Yeah, and he can't overshadow me either because I brought back like 18 squig herds. I ignored the herders at that point already. Just brought all squigs.
Okay. I do think. Wait, isn't Overshadow just for starting army?
It is, yeah.
You're right. You're right, but I still had a block of 10 bounders also.
Bounders,
still
yeah.
alive.
Yeah. No, I mean, sorry, I'm not saying that you didn't have anything left. I know that you kind of did. I just think that the logic for him not being able to get his grand check isn't because you can recur.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It's not because of that, but it's also because he was 3 inches away from me. I got the prio, and then Mangler was free to just jump all the way around and just smash things to bits.
Yeah, like Manglers. If you don't have shooting, it's really hard to deal with.
He had shooting the he had the raptors, and I really
Raptors.
think he should stop my Mangler with his whatchamacallit, the Holy Command.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that called about volley? But
Yep.
he prioritized by Gabapalooza on round 1, and they had a 4-up ward save.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
they
the
were-
knowledge is also big.
And they were under the bad moon. So when he would kill 2 on his turn, on my turn, I just rally 2 back on a 4-up.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. I
Okay.
guess I get the logic because Gabapalooza is what gives me a lot of my buffs, and they're 2 casters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
for
fair.
upward, totally not broken.
Yeah, 404 is
It's round 1, Dennis. It's round fucking 1.
No,
And they can battle shock. That's a big thing also. They can battle shock, and they have no hero.
I guess that's fair. But
Yeah.
oh, that was pretty good though. GG's.
Yeah. GG.
All right. So if you see in the picture here, there's a preview of the next round, and that is Dennis. Let's see. You can see Dennis like his hands outstretched over the battlefield in the
I don't know
back.
what I was doing
Right
there.
over the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was my game against Chris Ong, who brought Blades of Corn with 2 Thirsters and a bunch of Blood Letters.
Ancestral.
Yeah. So this game went by pretty quickly. So he had like 9 Mighty Skull Crushers. He deployed them pretty defensively, I should say. I would think that Mighty Skull Crushers would be used as some sort of tough screen. So you move them forward really far and then just have them tank every bit of damage because they're saving on 2+, right? So that's a lot of wounds and a tough, very nice save to go through. So what he did was he took the first turn and he wanted to pin me in my deployment zone. This picture is the start of the first round. He moved forward with his 20 blood letters and charged them onto my Gargants with
Oh,
the
damn.
3d6 charge. Unfortunately, all he took out was the Man Crusher that was positioned in front of Broad and my general. No, my other Gargant there. And between the two of them, they killed like 17 um, bloodletters, which
Yeah.
isn't really that hard given that they're saving on 5 plus, but swinging
Yeah.
damage, Gargants, and all that. But he was able to roll a 1 on the battle shock, which meant he brought back one demon, and it did kind of pin me down for like one turn, because I had to leave Broad um, that objective just to deal with the last 4 blood debtors, but mm, that wasn't enough to stop all my other Gargants from moving. So what happened was, during my turn, I charged in with. No, sorry, I just moved forward and then I got the priority, I think, and then I charged in with. No, sorry, he moved. Wait, no, wait. I think I'm getting this wrong. No, I charged in, and then I was able to deal with the mighty skull crushers, because he moved, and also the one of his bloodthirsters. I forgot which one. Not his general. I think it was. I forgot which bloodthirster that was. But anyway, I charged in with one of my Gargants into his skull crushers, dealing something like 5 or 6 mortal wounds, and then I 3d6 moved beside his bloodthirster. I used all out attack and then my triumph, the +1 to wound, and I dealt with one of the bloodthirsters then and there. So he was out one thirster already.
Right.
You gotta snipe out a big piece already early on in the game.
Yeah, yeah, and all the other Gargants were able to charge into the mighty skull crushers, and basically all that was left was his like 4 skull crushers out of 9, and then his other thirster. All the other things were dealt with already at that point. So
That's fucking wild, you know, like 9 skull crushers pinning you into the objective with
yeah,
2 ups. That's absolutely crazy. Sorry, I just wanted to make a quick mention. That's usually crazy, but against your army, you got like Ren 2, Ren 3 spread all around.
that's true. That's true. I could make like Broad increase the rent to for my Gargant. So
Exactly.
saving on 2 isn't that great, but still pretty good because you need to have like rent 3 to be able to like punch
It
through
is, because you
consistently.
could all out defense. You could just all
True.
out defense and
Yep.
finest hour, or like Skull Crusher. He just all out defense, but then again, you are a monster army. You could just
Yeah.
roar him all.
True.
Yeah.
True. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he was thinking of the right play, but I think charging was not the optimal one. I would think that he also got a blood tithe point from blood sacrifice, which he could have used on my turn to just pin me down by moving forward.
A murder lust. I could have just
Yeah,
and
murder
then,
lust.
like,
Yeah, like just running the mighty skull crushers, auto running them 14 inches or something like that, and then just
Yeah.
murder lust into my Gargants, just pinning my
Right.
whole army.
Yeah, I think it's not a good match. I don't think it's a good matchup for Korn against your army specifically, especially with your 5-up ward save. I don't think the game plan against you should be kill. It should be pin and just murder lust around, tag your guys, deny you the 3d6 fly because he tags you, so now you can't
Yeah.
charge anymore. You can't 3d6 flyer
That's
anymore.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, because if he gives you the charge, if he just screens and then gives you the charge, you might kill him faster because you do mortal wounds in the charge. You just run over his skull crushers.
I also feel like because this is a mission where you have to burn objectives, there is a way to corral Gargants into
Yes.
very unfavorable
Yeah.
positions, right? So Gargants will outscore you at first. Then you murderless pin them in a zone, full of objectives and you burn the other ones that aren't relevant, or if you know that the King Broad Stomp player still has like the King's Conquest and the other ones in the back pocket, there are ways for you to make it very inconvenient for Broad to have to get to that point.
I get it. There's like six objectives. Six. Right?
6, yeah.
Six, correct.
And you burn up
Yeah,
to
you're
2.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just run into them, pin him, and then burn whatever is in his territory. It's forced to run all the way to your back.
Yeah,
That's really difficult for him.
Yeah, but this was a very tough match for Chris, right?
Yeah.
Corn doesn't usually play super well into Behemoth, but it's a matchup that Corn players have to learn, unfortunately.
Oh, and they're only brave with 6. Skull Crushers are cowardly.
Skull Crushers
that's true.
they're cowards, and they usually need a lot more like support to get them to work, I think. But yeah,
they're only slightly braver than Boingrots, which is 5. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. But yeah, so GG's.
Yep.
And now we're gonna go over to the last round. This is my final game. This was against Joshua, and he brought this was Nico's round 1 opponent. He brought a very interesting list. It was all defense, and he played very clean. On turn 1, what he did was he used Speed of Hish on Severeth, flew him over to my side to shoot my Weird Knob, but he rolled really low, failed to kill it, but stayed there anyway. On my turn, I charged Severeth with 6 pigs, rolled even worse, and failed to kill Severeth with 6 Violent Fury pigs.
Oof.
And
that's hilarious. 6 pigs couldn't kill Severeth, was saving the 5s.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So he popped Aether Cult and used all out defense, rolled really hot, and I rolled really poorly. So out of I think I rolled 19 attacks, right, with the pigs.
Yeah.
I think I hit with 16 and only wounded with 4.
Wow.
Man, I can't close on our game. That luck right there.
Yeah, so that was really bad. Then he won Prio, used Severeth and the Dawn Riders to score Surround and Destroy, and used Severeth to attack my general again, killing him. So at this point, however, he was castled up, and his army had more passive battle tactics than I had. So I had to play really smart, and I had to score 5 points lower than him so that I could choose to burn objectives. So by turn 3, there were only 2 objectives left. It was only the objective that my Gore Gruntas are standing on right now on my right side, and the one on the far left. I wanted to make it so that all of his fast units were dead. So I wanted him to come out, but he stayed really, really cool and just stayed in his own castle, started scoring points. And that made me very nervous because outside of the 3 battle tactics I had, which were like Intimidate, That's Our Turf Now, and Surround and Destroy, I didn't really have any other tactics to wait him out. And the moment I outscored him, he'd be able to burn the objectives, which would remove my advantage. Not only that, my Grand Strat meant I had to go to his territory, and his Grand Strat meant his castle needed to stay intact because he had spellcasting Savant. So the pressure was on me to win that game. So eventually, however, around round 4, after very clean defensive plays, he had to finally do Magical Dominance. He cast Mystic Shield and decided not to cast anything else. So when that happened, he moved forward as well because he needed to set up, I think, for Intimidate the Invaders. And that's when I threw literally my entire army at him and wiped everything. Right? I didn't let him do the Maelstrom, but I didn't know that the twins could teleport at the end of the combat. It was round 4, and he needed to go underneath the round number. So he teleported it away to one of the objectives, making me only score 1 point in round 4.
Elania and Elithor, yes.
Yep.
They can teleport. Really, if they survive, and they have really good saves. They have a 3-up save in his army, which is good because he can save stack to ignore your rend. He can Aether Quartz, he can all-out defense, and he has magic for Mystic Shield. Then he can Finest Hour with them, all that bullshit.
Yeah, so what happened was I thought... At that point, though, I was very fortunate that I was able to kill his general because they had moved forward. But scoring 1 point in round 4 really messed with my head, especially as tired as I was from the tournament already. And basically, because everything else was dead, he couldn't score any more tactics. I won Prio into round 5, charged the Gore Gruntas into the twins, killed them, scored 1, 2, and more, and my grand strat, and just won the
You
game.
denied his grand strat too, right?
Yeah, I denied his grand strat by killing Spellcasting Savant because of that one turn that he was out. I threw a water at him. I charged everything. All that was left by the end of the game were the twins and 10 Blade Lords, and unfortunately, you couldn't do much with that anymore. That much with that anymore. I was able to get the 5-0, and I was able to win.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's my first. I rigged my ass. It's my first ever 5-0 and my first ever GT win in an IRL tournament. So I'm
well
very
deserved,
proud of this
man.
one.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And it was Iron Jaws
crazy.
too, so kind of thematic. Like, I mean, it was a long time coming. Iron Jaws.
Yeah.
You got practice in.
Yeah, I got a lot of practice in. Got to get a lot of reps in on Discord, and I'm very proud to have won with Iron Jaws, basically the army I started out with. And right now they're considered to be bottom tier. So very
Better
proud.
watch out for
Proud
more
of that.
nerfs then, Lance.
I know. No, they're gonna buff the Fog Hunters for sure. So, so that's how the tournament ended. I was able to get first. Nico got second, and Dennis got third. So very proud of the showing for Wartilyo.
Destruction sweep.
It was destruction too. It was a lot of destruction, and yeah, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good showing for our gaming club, which I'm very happy about.
This speaks
And-
a lot about destruction, basically. Like, all our losses were against destruction also. It's how swingy our games are.
Were there other destruction players besides? No, everyone else was like order. Actually, this is the first GT in our country where chaos didn't win. I think.
There was a Cruel Boys. The by player was a Cruel. One brought a Cruel Boy army, but
Oh, that's true.
yeah. But he was a by player, so I guess as long as you just won your games, you'd never meet him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of order in this tournament, right? Because we were in Dragonforge, 3 Stormcast, Idneth Deepkin,
Yeah, two
like
death players.
Seraphon player. So I think order had the
Oh,
most.
yeah.
Chaos was surprisingly thin this year because I think like Zami wasn't here, Dennis wasn't playing Skaven, Nico wasn't
Nico
playing
didn't.
Nerf,
Yeah.
and I think we had a long weekend, so it was a bit tough for some people to show up. But overall, the event was really smooth. S tier organizing. Have the team, Nome, Lovely, Yuri, Alvin, AJ, everyone really pulled together and made the event such a smooth, such a smooth one to run.
Yeah, everyone was great in that tournament,
Yeah.
especially Louis. Buying pizza for the players taking around the game.
Oh
Yeah.
that was sick. One nice thing about having a small GT is that it's very intimate. Like every small thing, people bringing candy, people bringing pizza. Like
Yeah,
it
energy
has
was
to-
so great. Yeah.
Yeah, the
It just
energy
felt
was
like
really
it
good.
got together, especially with see Custard showing up with the candy. Like, it just felt really nice.
That was so
Like,
random, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah, and a lot of people showed up just to show support, right? Like people
They
like
dropped by.
Paulo and others like dropped by. That was pretty sick. Mikey Cuenco even dropped by like for a Magic deal, but it was cool to see him anyway. It was really good.
The foot traffic was pretty decent because there were like a bunch of like students, foreigners, like taking closer looks at the games. It was right next to the UP. I forgot what you call that. There was a specific room kasi for like students that they used for events, and there was like
Yeah.
events going on also. So it was really nice. The foot traffic was great.
But yeah. Eagle even dropped by. He brought his own army. Was hoping to get a game, and unfortunately, everyone was already paired up and stuff.
Yeah. Kudos to Risa and Kino though at the last round they just kept playing even though the tournament
Yeah.
was done. They just continued their game.
Yeah, it shows the real passion there. Also, kudos to Enzo for always like getting within top 8 despite like he's 11 years old and he's like always in top 8. He's really good.
Can I just say, round five was patricide. It was Mon and
Yeah, it was Enzo, Jerome, and
Jerome and
Yuri.
Enzo, and then Mon and Yuri.
That was
oh my god! I heard Enzo was vicious against like Jerome with the rules and everything. He was ruthless.
I also heard that
that-
Blade guys on the charge took down like Karazai or something like that, just from the mortal wounds alone. That was like brutal.
Oh, that's brutal.
That must have been hot. That roll was hot.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So to cap off the night, though, since we're talking about other players already, we're gonna talk about our favorite lists.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, Dennis, this is yours.
Yeah, so my favorite list is BJ's OBR, Nagash, and Mortigard spam. Not spam, but a lot of Mortigards. In
Yeah.
Crematorians, by the way.
Oh
So
shit.
I'm a fan of this because apart from the fantastic looking Nagash who's sitting on a throne, uh,
Yep.
this was a list that BJ and I have been talking about since a few months ago. Because we saw this list on Seasons of War where Nagash, Jordan, I think that was Jordan, Nagash and some Mortic Guard and Death Riders. And then the concept of crematorians just blowing themselves up, dealing mortal wounds, recurring back, and then even if the unit died, you can get them back with Nagash for them to blow up and die all over. Um, Such a fun concept for me. Uh, so yeah, another great thing with this list is Liege Cavalos having diversionary tactics, which meant that you couldn't charge them. You had a -3 to your charge rolls. Uh,
That's,
so even if you
I don't
do
get
get
how
to
that
charge,
works.
Nico?
No. I'm just saying I don't get how that works in lore. Like diversionary tactics.
Ah.
-3. Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe he was just pointing at some other part and hey, look, something like that. I don't know.
super generous trip.
Yeah, with that debuff, that basically meant that you can only charge in with like just a few units, and he could basically like um, concentrate all of his explosions onto that unit to whittle it down further. Um, so yeah,
Question. With crematorians, can he pile in first and then explode, or is it just he has to
when,
explode where he stands?
whenever it dies, yeah. But I think it
Yeah, so
has to be like 3 inches, yeah, or something
well,
like
it's
that.
not fight. It's not fight upon death. So you
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't.
but the question. So I'm curious. So I'm curious how crematorians play. Because if you bring like let's say a block of 40 Mortic Guard, you're not gonna be within. If it's only 1 inch explosions, you're not gonna be able to get everything to explode into one guy for sure. Because there'll be stuff in the back more than 1 inch away. Is it three
That's
inches or 1 inch for
I
crematorians?
kind of forgot if it's 3 inches or 1 inch. Let me check on that. But
But anyways, that
yeah,
was. It sounds like it's insane with it. He just brings back more models and then recycles.
yeah,
I
especially with
yeah.
the harvester, it's obviously nerfed now, but it
The
does
Bone
its job.
Shaper, the Gash, and the Harvester. All three of these things.
Yeah,
Another thing about this list that I think is very ballsy is that he has the grand strategy control the Nexus, which means he needs 2 wizards to be in near the center, right?
yeah.
And he has both a Mortisan, Bone Shaper, and Nagash. So he needs both of these alive just to score that. I think normally people would pick spellcasting Savant, but because he wanted to get diversionary tactics, it kind of stopped him from getting that grand strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true.
So very ballsy. There's a very strong confidence in his game plan to be able to pick that grand strat with this army.
So crematorians is 3 inches, so
That's pretty good.
that's
That's huge.
quite a long range.
That's
Yeah,
big.
yep,
That's big. They're like zombies, basically.
yeah.
Is it 5 ups? Their
5 ups.
monohomes are 5 ups.
Yep.
Oh my god. That would have been interesting if I fought. It would have been interesting if I fought BJ because I fight upon death, he explodes. If he explodes, I die. If I die, I fight upon death. If I
Yep.
fight upon death, he explodes and
No.
chain me, ask him to go, whatever.
And if the Mortec Guard don't die, they could be buffed like to hell. Like you can give Leech Cavalos can give them +1 to attacks. And then if you give them
Yeah.
Horfrost, that'd be like 3 attacks each. Rend whatever
Yeah.
you roll with Horfrost.
Yeah,
And then-
and he could get ethereal. If he fought Lance, he could
Yeah.
have given the more
Yep.
ethereal.
That's
plus
true.
1 to wound on the charge.
Hmm.
On if they get charged. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight this because diversionary tactics literally fucks with half my game plan. Needing to roll a 6 instead of a 3 for most of the way I position my army is going to be a pain. Hunt and Crush is basically neutered. So I think it will be a tough matchup, but this is a tough army to play in a lot of the battle plans.
It is, yeah. It's pretty slow. They basically need to be like a Death Star army.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the
And
Gash, you always play Death Star.
Yeah,
You
with
know,
just
if
the
you
Death Riders going around, maybe doing that easy
more
tactic,
tactic. Yeah.
taking
It's also
objectives.
crazy. It's also crazy because I remember in the Gash getting into melee and killing like 11 blood letters in a single combat. That
Oh
was
man.
pretty hardcore. Like 21 wounds in melee. Like
I guess
I
that's
remember him rolling damage. It was like 5 and a 6. So he's like, okay, I deal 21 damage. And I remember Chris's face. He's like, whoa, that just happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty good.
I guess nerds can fight, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, he's still a god. He's still a god. Imhotep from the Mummy is really strong over there. So yeah,
All right.
that was pretty good. Thank you, Dennis, for sharing your favorite
Alright.
list. We're moving on to this one. This is a double whammy because this is my favorite list and Nico's favorite list as well. This is the Lumineth Realm Lords list by Joshua. He brought Zytrek. His Grand Strat is Spellcasting Savant, which means that he needs his Cenari and Lightner to survive. He's at 1980 points with Indomitable, showing that he's got he basically wants his castle to hold. That's his higher priority over killing things. I think it's a very smart choice because Inspired's not that important in this army,
Yeah.
especially with
Especially
Blade
with
Lords.
Blade Lords,
on
yeah.
2 buffs automatically, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So keeping everyone together is
Very
important.
deceptive. Oh, sorry. I think I lagged.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I think I lagged. I was gonna say this army is very deceptive. He doesn't have to hit hard to win his game plan here.
Yeah, he just has to score tactics and kill specific opponents. I think it shows just how innovative Joshua is with this army. Because he's able to take out Korn. He's able to take out a lot of very heavy hitters in this tournament, actually. And I think that Joshua as a player is a really, really smart guy. I think he takes a little longer to decide on certain things because he's new. He just picked the game up in August and he's always like back-to-back top tables in every tournament he's in. I'm really excited to see his development as a player. I also want to talk about other things in this list that I really like, but Nico, you want to say something else?
He got close with you also. I mean, at one point that was really impressive.
Yeah, he was very disciplined. I think that if he had given me Prio once or not moved out when he did, it would have been a very different game. Because his positioning and his castling is very impeccable. Even without Sentinels to put pressure on me to charge him, he was able to find other ways in his army to cripple his opponent and score tactics far outside the range of his like army. I also really like the Rune of Semtoy as a choice here because it gives him +1 to unbinds and dispel if he has other scenario within 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Elania and Elathor, which no one really picks. Also Cenari and Lightner. He also has a lot of redundancies. Overwhelming Heat seems to be his favorite spell. He wants to be able to cut his opponent's movement.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. It worked on me for one round. It was really annoying. It really struggled. I had to roll like an 8 to charge, which is really hard with no rerolls.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, and if you get he did some we played one game and then what he likes doing was using overwhelming heat and then darkness of the soul on one other target.
Mm-hmm.
So like he can basically like neuter two enemy units at once.
Yeah, and he also has suffocating for big horde units and gnashing jaws for more slower elite armies. Got a very good spread. Total Eclipse here, all the annoying stuff. Sorry.
It's a utility list basically. What he brought, and
Yeah.
I genuinely think this could win tournaments. I think it's more the games he lost. It didn't sound like he did bad. It just was more of a match-up knowledge thing. Because
Yeah.
there aren't a lot of Gloomspite Gets players. So I bet even no matter how many times I explain my rules to you, if it's your first time playing it, there's always something that you're gonna forget. Like, oh shit, they can move like 3d6 and then bounce after they fight or all that garbage.
Yeah,
Nico
I think
said
the
it.
list.
Garbage.
Sorry.
It's garbage. We need more.
I think that this list is really good. It's definitely like a scalpel list, right? You have to be very knowledgeable about what it does. You need to be knowledgeable about your opponent, and I think this is so challenging to play. Like I kind of want to try playing it one day, like on TTS, just to see how I do. But I think it's gonna blow my mind.
I would like to see this deal with a shooting army, actually. I'm not quite sure how this would do against if someone brought KO or I don't know,
Slaanesh.
cities. Slanesh, cities, KO, or even another Lumineth list. Let's say in one tournament he fights Johan with his Techless Sentinel build. This would be an interesting fight because I have yet to see how this deals with shooting.
Yeah, I think this one would win against in the Techless mirror though because of Andorian acolytes. And
Yeah.
being used primal to just stop Techless from casting things.
Plus the +6 to unbind, the 6-inch plus to unbind is big.
Yeah, you can go up to +3 or +4, I think, if you position
Yes.
properly. And having that plus primal dice to unbind Techless is huge. So yeah, it's a great list. I think it's got a lot of potential, a lot of great ideas, and seeing 20 Blade Lords is something you don't really fuck around with. And it's also got a lot of uniques. It's got Severeth, Light of Altharion, Elanian, Elethor. There's a lot of love here for Lumineth and the unique aspects of these special characters that, it's hard for me not to appreciate this list. It's pretty solid.
I just realized 20 Blade Lord, 20 Blade Lords in units of 10. So I'm guessing they have 3-inch range, so they can just all do like precise strikes on one target and then do like 20 mortal wounds if he doesn't roll a single one on a 2-up, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I want to call out a typo in the list building. So it's also be 240 for 120 Blade Lords. Sorry, for 10 Blade Lords rather. It's a bug with the Age of Sigmar app because Games Workshop is a multi-dollar company. They can't afford to fix their app. So
Right.
to feel sorry for them, we have to buy more models, I guess.
All right, drive by with what a drive by for Games Workshop.
Lol. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's our program for the night. Overall, the tournament was a success. There were 13 players, and Mon, who served as our buy player, he was a great guy. He had a lot of spirit and made the experience very fun, especially for people in the bottom tables. And yeah, this is the second GT of the year and the first ever GT of the Dragonforge. So congratulations to Louis and the team.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats to Lance for winning, even though I hate you.
Yeah, and congrats to Nico and Dennis for getting second and third. All of us were able to get. Louis is very generous with the prizes and everything. So yeah, if you're in Manila, we have a couple more events coming up. We have Snow Skirmish in December on December 3. I think that Louis and the Dragonforge are also planning to do an RTT. I think that it's going to be scheduled on January 7, and we also have an event that's not formally announced yet. It's going to be in February. It's a 2-dayer. You can probably already guess what it is. We are hoping you guys are hoping a lot of Warhammer Age of Sigmar happening in Manila right now. If you're in the area, or if you're ever flying in from abroad, send us a message, join our Discord, say hi. We'll hook you up with games. If you are watching from Manila, are interested in learning how to play Age of Sigmar, give us a message. We're always so happy to talk about this hobby with anyone that we know. If you like the content, give us a like, give us a sub, and yeah, I think that's about it. Do you guys have any closing remarks?
I hate you, but
okay. Dennis, do you have anything useful to say? Not that other stuff.
Yeah. Congratulations to Dragonforge. That was a fun event and all of that.
No, but seriously, congrats, Lance. But seriously, congrats, Lance. This was a long time coming with Iron Jaws. You've practiced this every single tournament you've joined. You've always brought aside from the online ones, Iron Jaws.
Yeah, I don't join as many tournaments as you guys do either. So me being able to win one makes me very happy.
And it's with Iron Jaws. I'm happy it's with Iron Jaws. It actually inspires me to practice Gits more because this is probably what you felt like in the past with Iron Jaws. Whenever you'd play against Nurgle, this is probably what it felt like also. Yeah,
small mistakes really screw with me. But yeah. What I also love about this pick, by the way, is a lot of fresh faces. So GG everyone. Thank you for joining us in the Dragonforge GT 2023 recap. If you have any questions, concerns, violent reactions, post them in the comments. We'd love to respond. And with that ends our program. Goodbye, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
Okay.